Okay, Ramblers, let's get rambling.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Nick.
Some Dumb Guy here, and welcome to episode 33 of Some Dumb Watch, celebrating now 33 weeks of dumb watching. This episode will be covering the week of May 12th through May 18th, and of course, this is my weekly series where I cover what I've watched each week from my physical media library and any theatrical attendances I happen to attend. Whatever. Let's go. First and foremost, we're starting off with one of my recent used eBay acquisitions for a title that I believe it was out of print. I had to pick this one up to compensate for something you'll see in a moment. This is Jean-Claude Van Damme's Nowhere to Run, but everywhere to ride a motorcycle to. It's got Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's got Rosanna Arquette, it's got other people. I don't think there's any other names or recognizable faces in that. So that is essentially it off the top of my head. This one's fun. You know, it's nothing to write home about. It's your standard Van Damme fare. This one is from the year of our Lord, 1993. I remember this coming out. I remembered seeing it. This is probably featuring Rosanna Arquette looking her absolute best if I were to scrutinize on that level. Like I said, just a criminal on the run who happens to take refuge on the property of a farmer widow and her children who are being harassed, antagonized, terrorized by some greedy land developers, and you know, kind of the standard Western fare in a modern setting. And our felon on the lam decides to take up the hero's journey, as it were, and the rest is history. I picked that one up in compensation for thinking originally it was this one, which came in on my Kino Lorber March Madness sale for my first batch. This is Jean-Claude Van Damme's Hard Target, starring, of course, Jean-Claude Van Damme, directed by Adam Woo, directed by John Woo. This one also stars Yancey Butler, Lance Hendrickson. There's a couple little recognizable faces, but nobody of real significant note except for Wilfred Brimley. Probably approaching one of his last film roles. This was also 1993. That's interesting. Same year. Even by John Woo standards, this movie is excessively stylized, and pretty confident I saw this when it was new. Maybe that was why, like early VHS days when it first hit video. Same thing with Nowhere to Run. And that's probably why I confused the two. Watching this one now reminds me of why it left a sour taste in my mouth then, probably why I blanked it out, and why I still don't feel it. Yancey Butler is absolutely, should never have been acting. Looks great. I'm sorry, but that's all she got. Lance Hendrickson, of course, he's hamming it up as the villain. Basically a story of a group of rich folk who get off on hunting people and choosing people of preferably military backgrounds who have no ties to the outside world, who won't be missed in case they happen to get perished and vanished. So they travel around the world, they set up bases of operations, and then they pay the right people to do the right things, and then they contract others to pay them for the thrill of the hunt. It's not good by any means measured whatsoever. Not even Wilfred Brimley can spare that or save that one because of his atrocious Creole accent. Next up is going to be a rewatch from a couple years ago, and I picked this one up after renting it from Netflix Got the Blu-ray 2-pack because it's a movie and a sequel. This is Iron Sky and Iron Sky, The Coming Race. Now, why they have those reversed, because this is part 1, this is part 2, I don't know. But this is an import. I ended up picking this one up through eBay last summer. I'm speculating that this is probably a bootleg because while part 1 of Iron Sky and the Dictator's Cut played flawlessly without any issues, unfortunately, the sequel, The Coming Race, which I hadn't seen yet, won't play in either of my 4K players. And one of them is a region free. My main menu will show the title of it on the 4K main menu. But, yep, you press it, cycles through it, it just goes back to that same screen. And that's on both players. That's after ejecting and reinserting. Had no impact whatsoever. And now I can't find a copy of part 2 or these together at a reasonable price. I paid for a little over 20 bucks for this 2-pack last summer. It looks like I'm probably going to be spending a minimum of 25 just to get the second one again to replace this by itself. And that's pretty bad because we're looking at a total cost of about $45, tax, shipping, whatever. And it's way too late for any kind of restitution or anything on that regard. I found the purchase history on my eBay account, clicked on it, of course, gone. There's no record of the listing whatsoever, so I can't even go to the seller to see if they had more. Nothing at all. It was gone completely. Just click. Yeah. Next up is a kind of follow-up for last week's episode. I don't know why that's such a hard bit of information to put on an insert. You know, you can have the running time, you can have all this stuff, you can have the ratings, list all your bonus features. Is it really that hard to include in your release? No, it is not. I'm putting this probably approximately 95, 96. But last week, I watched Clerks and featured it on last week's episode. This week, I followed that up with Mallrats. This from my homemade 2-pack, featuring both theatrical and director's cut. I hate the director's cut with a passion. It's a completely different movie, and I dislike it without any redeeming factors. Nothing makes it better than the theatrical cut. I've never been entirely sold on Mallrats. It has its charms, but where it goes off the rails for me and loses a great deal of respect is when Kevin Smith, basically what I'm going to call neutering Jay and Silent Bob. Our first appearance of Jay and Silent Bob is in Clerks. They're raw, they're gritty, they're obscene, they're not necessarily nice or good people. Mallrats neuters them. It makes them cute characters. And as a movie that takes place a matter of days before Clerks, they're not the same characters. Not by any stretch of the imagination. These Jay and Silent Bob are not the same people as it was Clerks. And unfortunately, Kevin Smith opted to keep that rendition of the characters for all his films that feature them going forward, which consequently pretty much ended my relationship with Kevin Smith's filmmaking at that point. Because as I tried to continue watching, keeping up with his films and seeing what he was doing with those characters, it didn't work for me at all. Coming up from another home-made 2-pack of mine, I did a double feature back-to-back 2009 and 2013 films of a themed nature, which my 2-packs typically are. Back-to-back viewings of Warm Bodies and Zombieland. Romantic zombie comedies. Or zombie romantic comedies, whatever you want to consider them. This is just what I put together for 2 films that were pretty unique from my perspective. You've got Warm Bodies. Well, it's a romantic comedy. You know what it features. Oh, shit. What is it? Hi, buddy. You need to be boy. Oh, thank you for the hugs. I appreciate it. Always like your affection. Thank you. Hey, good boy. Huh? Yeah? Oh, thank you. You're very sweet. Where you going? You lie down? Okay. Zombieland features Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, the lovely, lovely, looking great in this movie, Emma Stone, personal favorite of mine, Abigail Breslin, and kind of extended cameo by Bill Murray. This, I think, is probably the maybe second or third time I've seen this, but it's been a long time. This movie came out in 2009. Warm Bodies, very similar. That's 2013. I saw it probably a year or so after it came out as a rental. I'd only seen that one once. Nicholas Hoult features a Warm Body, and I'm sorry to say I can't remember the lead actress's name, and she's not mentioned here on the back, which is unfortunate. Doesn't really help us out any, but yeah, fun times to be had by all. From a recent eBay unboxing of Rodent House Usedness, I am now rewatching. I'm trying to figure out where I stand on this particular film and its sequel. We have Pirates of the Caribbean. It was this Dead Man's Chest. So this is part 2. Even says so here on the spine somewhere. In case you doubt. Reuniting Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley. Again, this film, of course, ends on a cliffhanger. Parts 2 and 3 are basically an extended version of one film. It's just nowhere near as compelling or witty or fun as the first film. It's not. It's there. I can watch it. I don't find anything particularly compelling about it. We'll see what happens with part 3 when it wraps up that particular trilogy storyline. It's kind of an annual, semi-annual thing for me. I pulled out my box set, 4K, my Rocky collection. This is the ultimate knockout collection. Not to be confused with all the other random knockout collections that the Rocky franchise has released over the last 5 years or so, 10 years, whatever it's been. I watched the first film, and I will be continuing on as I go. I will watch all 6 Rocky films and the first 2 Creed films, because there are only 2 Creed films, and we stop there. But yeah, it's kind of a, like I said, semi-annual tradition for me to not necessarily marathon it, because I might spread it out over the course of a couple weeks. Rocky is easily in my top 10 if I were able to do a ranking on that, and I will always love the film. Lastly, for the physical, we are slowly making our way through the last season of Seinfeld on 4K. Time constraints, partially not wanting to finish the show because I still don't have a contender for my next TV series to add into my rotation. Haven't gotten any suggestions from my dear viewers yet as far as possibilities to continue, and having a bit of indecisiveness myself when I think about alternatives should I not receive any suggestions or recommendations from my viewing audience. Let's see here. Theatrical attendances this week. We have 2. Both having reviews up on my channel live now. We will start off with Wednesday morning at 11:35 a.m. We have Clown in a Cornfield. I don't think the title works. I don't think the story works. I feel like the trailer largely misrepresented the film. And if it was handled a little bit differently, I might have a slightly better opinion of the movie. I did overall enjoy it. It's just not what was presented to me, what I expected in the trailer. And the end of the third act and then into the epilogue, everything that has been built that was good fell apart. So I left the theater with a bad taste. Friday, 7:30 p.m. We saw, or me, because there's no we, Final Destination Bloodlines. Very much a mixed bag, a failed premise on a faulty foundation, but an overall fun story. Not executed as well as I think it could have been. So that one got a recommendation out of me with some caveats. You know, I don't regret watching either of these movies. They were fine. They did provide me some entertainment. You're never going to go into a movie theater loving every single movie. Same thing, you blind buy. You're never going to love every single movie you buy and watch for the first time at home. So you go through it, you roll the dice, you take your chances, and if you don't completely regret the experience, I guess ultimately you're coming out on top, right? So that's that. It is all done. We have gone through my stack. Maybe I'm watching too much. Maybe I'm talking too much about these titles. I don't want these episodes to be this long. What did you watch yourself this week? Share in the word box. What did you think about what I watched this week? Share in the word box. Do you have any recommendations for me for a new TV series for me to add into my weekly rotation once I finish Seinfeld? Suggest in the word box. By all means, throw those out because I need assistance. I have lots to choose from. I'm hoping the randoms will come and one of those will hit that A, I own it, B, I'm planning on owning it, and C, I haven't watched it yet. So I've got a lot of TV on shelving up in this corner here. Plenty to choose from. Chances are someone could suggest something that I have that would qualify and I can dive in without having to think about it, but we'll see. Thank you once again for joining me. Say hi to Buddy on your way out, little sleepy boy. Sugar's over here. She has chosen not to cameo this episode. It is what it is. Thank you. Good night and bye-bye.
Alan.